This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 26th day of March in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Now here's what we're tracking tonight. The investigation into the death of Fireman Vashon Manbo at the Georgetown Hospital has revealed several systemic errors on the part of the hospital and some staff members. The fireman, who was injured in the Mays school fire, passed away at the Georgetown Hospital days after being admitted there with multiple injuries. The investigating team, which included both external and internal medical specialists, handed over its report to the management of the hospital on Monday. The hospital's chief executive officer, Robbie Rambaran, told News Source today that the report is now being studied.
They have finished their investigation and submitted the report. The report was submitted on Monday, and we are in the process of going through that report.
Meanwhile, the medical director at the Georgetown Hospital, Dr. Navindranath Rambaran, said the findings point to a number of errors that occurred.
Well, on initial review, it points to several issues that were brought to bear with regards to how the system worked for the patient. And there have been several recommendations that we are currently looking at to ensure that these issues do not arise in the future. There are certainly several recommendations in there based on the findings that we are now mandated to put measures in place to ensure that the system is improved with the way departments work with each other and overall how the system works efficiently for better outcomes for patients.
The 27-year-old fireman passed away on the 8th of March at the hospital where he was nursing head and other injuries. His family complained that he was treated badly while in the care of the hospital, and they demanded a full probe. The family members said his condition worsened after he fell from the bed at the hospital, and they only learned of that fall from another patient. Both the chief executive officer and the medical director of the Georgetown Hospital have said that now that the report is completed, the hospital's management will meet to deliberate on the findings and the recommendations. The fireman was among 3 firefighters who were injured when a wall collapsed on them as they battled an early morning fire at the Mays school. The other 2 firemen were treated for their injuries and discharged. Fireman Manbo never recovered. More news coming up in a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Citizens, please be reminded that the Ministry of Housing and Water does not sell land or housing units through any third-party arrangements or accept payments through any mobile money platforms. All our allocations are done at our Brickdam Georgetown main office, any of our regional offices, or at any scheduled Dream Realized event. A message from the Ministry of Housing and Water, Central Housing and Planning Authority.
Mobil One is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil One adapts and readapts to last longer, 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of mobile lubricants.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio began his Caribbean tour in Jamaica today, where he met and held discussions with the Jamaican government and separated with other CARICOM leaders. The U.S. Secretary of State will be in Guyana tomorrow for meetings with President Irfaan Ali and other government officials on several key issues. He will leave the country tomorrow also. In Jamaica, the discussions focus heavily on trade, security cooperation, and foreign aid. On the issue of U.S. foreign aid and the new stance of the U.S. administration, which has been slashing foreign aid, the U.S. Secretary of State explained that the U.S. is not getting out of the business of foreign aid, but instead it will be focusing now on ensuring its foreign aid aligns with its foreign policy.
The United States is not getting out of the aid business. We are going to be providing foreign aid. The difference is, we want to provide foreign aid in a way that is strategically aligned with our foreign policy priorities and the priorities of our host countries and our nation states that we're partners with. In essence, how that would work, how it has worked in the past, is USAID or some other entity would come into a country and say, this is what we think you need. And then they go out and hire an NGO that maybe are the ones that convinced them that that's what you need, and they give them a bunch of money and they come into the country and they do things. Some of these programs are fine, they're nice things. Other times, not so much. Nonetheless, that's how it used to be. How we want it to be in the future is that our embassies are involved with the host government, our hosts, our partners, and we ask them, what are your needs? And we provide assistance geared towards the needs of the nation states that are hosting us and that we're partnering with.
According to the U.S. Secretary of State, the host governments are in the best position to speak to the needs of the country, and that's where the partnership will be.
It's the host governments who have a clear vision for the future, and to the extent that our foreign aid can be helpful, it is in furtherance of what the people of your country have elected you to carry out. Here there are a lot of things, we've just described some of them. What should our foreign aid be geared towards? It should be geared towards looking for opportunities to increase skills training, looking for opportunities to attract investment and business and trade, and looking obviously for opportunities to expand on your own domestic intelligence capabilities. We are going to have foreign aid that is aligned to our foreign policy, and our foreign policy is going to be aligned to our mutual shared interests with the partners that we have all over the world.
The Donald Trump administration in the U.S. has slashed the staff of U.S. aid across the world, hampering a number of projects in various countries. In Guyana, at least one major project has been affected, and the others have been left pending. That issue is expected to come up for discussion when the U.S. Secretary of State meets President Irfaan Ali on Thursday. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Nandlall has expressed his displeasure with recent statements from U.S. Congresswoman Yvette Clarke on the state of affairs in Guyana and the detention of Guyanese activist Melissa Atwell-Holder in the United States. The U.S. Congresswoman appeared on Mark Benchcop's Straight Up program online and condemned the arrest of Atwell-Holder. She also went further to state that she fears Atwell-Holder will face political persecution if she returns to Guyana, and called the situation a travesty. But the Attorney General Nandlall has fired back at the U.S. Congresswoman and said her making statements in the public without the government having a say is the real travesty.
So, how did Ms. Clarke come to this conclusion? She spoke to Ms. Atwell and she spoke to Mr. Benchcop. Benchcop is a known critic of the government. Atwell is a known critic of the government. And listening to two critical voices without even expressing any doubt, without extending the facility of a hearing to the government, she has come to the conclusion that it is a travesty. What is a travesty is the way that she has concluded a particular matter and has arrived at a judgment call by only hearing one side.
The Attorney General said while he has no issue with the Congresswoman mounting the platform to speak about U.S. policy, he felt compelled to respond to her statements since she involved Guyana.
Where I part company with Ms. Clark is when she condemns the government of Guyana and is critical of the government of Guyana without being equipped with the material facts and without offering the government of Guyana the facility of a response or even a hearing.
Mr. Nandlall questioned whether the Congresswoman was properly briefed on the work of Melly, stating that in his view, she went far beyond activism and destroyed the reputations of many persons with her social media postings. Melissa Atwell Holden, known as Melly, would use her social media to highlight claims and allegations of corruption within the Guyana government. She was arrested by the U.S. Homeland Security Department 2 weeks ago at her New York home. She was later transferred to a detention center in Louisiana and is currently awaiting a hearing before a U.S. immigration judge on Friday. The families of 11 of the 20 children who perished in a tragic dorm fire in Madia back in 2023 have filed a $16.5 billion lawsuit against the state. In the court documents seen by News Source, the parents, through attorney Darren Wade, are asking the High Court to declare that the state breached its duty of care to the victims and that its actions and omissions in relation to the injuries sustained by the now dead victims constitute a breach of their fundamental rights under the Constitution. The families are also asking the court to declare that the confinement of the victims behind locked grills with the doors and windows padlocked from within, preventing them from leaving the building and leading to their deaths in a fire, constitutes torture, inhumane and degrading punishment, and a violation of fundamental human rights under the Constitution. They are also arguing that the conditions under which the children were housed resulted in a breach of their fundamental rights and liberties, in particular the freedom of movement under the Constitution, and that their deaths were as a result of the negligence of the state. In the circumstances, the parents are claiming damages in excess of $500 million for each child who perished in the incident, aggravated damages in excess of $500 million for each of the victims in light of the emotional and psychological distress caused by the actions and omissions of the state, and another $500 million in exemplary damages for each child in order to deter the state from engaging in such reckless, negligent, and inhumane conduct in the future. In laying down the grounds for the case, the attorney Darren Wade is arguing that at the time of the fire, the victims were under the care, custody, and control of the state, and the state had a duty to ensure the safety and well-being of the children and all other occupants in the school's dormitory located at Madia in Region 8. He's also arguing that the consequence of the state's failure to uphold its duty of care was that barriers trapped the students inside the burning dormitory, leading to their tragic and avoidable deaths. He further submitted to the court that grill doors and windows, as well as the prevention of exits, were measures implemented by the state to restrict the movement of the children who occupy the dorm, particularly at night, without considering the critical need for fire safety and emergency evacuation procedures. The attorney submitted that 2 months after the deadly blaze, the Attorney General traveled to Madia, where he encouraged the families of the victims to sign a settlement agreement, indicating that it was part of several initiatives undertaken by the government. Having signed the agreement, the families were paid $5 million for each of the victims. However, attorney Darren Wade argues that the agreements have no legal effect, adding that at the time, the grieving families had no independent legal advice.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Ready to up your game? Ready to up your game? Win big with over 60 epic prizes. A brand new PS5, Nintendo Switch, iPhone 16 Pro Max, Apple smartwatch, and the hottest earbuds from Apple and Samsung. Plus, we are giving away thousands in phone credit and a whole year supply of Buster or Turbo Energy drink. Here's how. Buy any Buster or Turbo Energy drink, find the code starting with BB and enter online or on WhatsApp. Visit us on Facebook or Instagram at Turbo_Caribbean or Buster Guyana for all the details. Don't just play. Up your game with Buster and Turbo Energy.
A new Deeds and Commercial Registry office was commissioned today on the Essequibo Coast by President Irfan Ali, who promised easier access to important business transactions for residents of the Essequibo. The $447.8 million three-story building will accommodate offices to offer legal land and business transactions for residents across the Essequibo. The president said there can no longer be delays in certain business transactions, adding that the demand for legal services for businesses continue to grow as the economy expands.
In a fast-growing economy like ours, where investment is pouring in and businesses are expanding, we cannot afford a legal system that struggles to keep pace. Decentralization and modernization are not luxuries, they are necessities. By bringing legal services closer to communities, digitizing records, and streamlining procedures, we can ensure that justice is not only accessible, but also swift and efficient.
According to President Ali, the government's intervention serves as part of the broader plan to modernize the country's legal architecture. He pointed out that access to justice is not only about resolving disputes, but also about the creation of an environment where investors feel safe.
That is why strengthening our legal framework is a key part of our broader modernization efforts. We are ensuring that Guyana is a country where commerce flows freely, where titles and deeds are secure, and where justice is swift and fair.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General Nandlall promised that every region will have its own Deeds and Commercial Registry office by the end of the year.
The point is that no longer will services that are important only be accessible in Georgetown. The vision of our government is to deliver those services wherever you are located in this country.
The Attorney General said the investment is to ensure citizens enjoy modern services with proper amenities, including fully air-conditioned rooms, elevators, parking facilities, and a storage vault for their documents. A post-mortem examination has been ordered to determine the cause of death of a woman who was found dead in a room at the Sunflower Hotel on South Road this morning. There is no foul play suspected, and according to staff members at the hotel, the woman had complained of feeling unwell over the course of 2 days. She has been identified as Joanna Gomes. She is believed to be in her late 30s. According to hotel staffers, Gomes hails from an interior location and would stay at the hotel whenever she visited Georgetown. They said she checked in at the hotel 2 days ago, but complained of feeling unwell. It was explained that the staff and other guests of the hotel encouraged her to visit the hospital, but she refused. When staff members went to check on her this morning, there was no answer at the door. They were forced to use an extra key to gain access to the room, and it was then that they discovered the lifeless body on the bed. Police investigators were summoned to the scene and launched their investigations, reporting that there were no marks of violence found on the woman's body. The hotel's receptionist, Colleen Cush, told news source that she went to check on Gomes after reporting for duty this morning and found her unresponsive in the room.
But I know that she was sick, so I came in this morning and said, man, let me go and check on Joanna. When I rapping at the door, rapping, no answer. So I'm going to look for a spare key, open the room and
The receptionist also said despite their many pleadings, the woman opted to stay in her room rather than to visit the hospital over the past 2 days.
Came in on Monday about 11:08. I booked her in. She was looking sick. She was sick indeed because when she came, I said, man, Joanna, how you look? So you look sick. She said, yeah, she's not feeling well. She went up to the room and that was it.
Another hotel employee told news source that he last saw the woman alive early on Tuesday night when she requested an aerated beverage but drank coconut water instead.
She told me she can go to the doctor when she got the strength for go. So she was delaying. Today she's supposed to go to the doctor because she said she can't get back herself.
The hotel provided the police investigators with surveillance video recordings from the hallways and entry to the hotel. There was no one seen entering or leaving the woman's room overnight. The probe is ongoing tonight. A man from Wisma in Linden who tied a sheet around the neck of his 1-year-old child and recorded a video with the child hanging from a tree in the yard has been arrested and will face charges of child abuse and child endangerment. The child is alive and well. The man reportedly recorded a video and sent it to the child's mother as a threat over a police complaint that she had filed against him for abusing her. The suspect's name has been given as Kester Johnson, and he remains in police custody. Police investigators visited the child's mother this morning after a video recording of the incident appeared on social media. The woman told the police that she had deleted the video, but she later retrieved it from the trash file in her phone and turned the phone over to the investigators. The suspect, Kester Johnson, was arrested at his Blueberry Hill home and taken into custody immediately. The police said 4 days ago the woman visited the police station with a complaint of the man abusing her. However, she left the station without providing a written statement. It is believed that she decided to go to the home of a relative seeking refuge. The couple shared 3 young children, ages 3, 2, and 1. The investigations are ongoing tonight.
Yeah, you already know it's your truly Nelly Couture, the queen of zest. If you take people, man, clap your hand. If you take people, man, clap your hand.
Wait, Bobby?
Hi, Granny.
You know the Nelly song?
How you mean? Plus, she coming for a creek explosion Sunday, April 20th.
Creek explosion? Which creek? And is who bringing she?
The creek by Splash Main, Aziza Akusa, and his Team Extra bringing she.
Team Extra? Let me call Freddie.
Hello, Granny.
Hi, bye.
What going on?
You bringing Nelly Couture and you didn't even put me on the show? Like you a kunumunu or what?
Don't say fat, you're booking you now.
Galang, Granny.
Let me see the flyer. Female dancing competition over 160,000 given away. Plus male dance off for 1 motorbike.
Music by Bobby Kush, DJ Magnum, DJ Garwin, David Hype, and Papa Feelings.
Are you giddy up and get your early bird tickets for $2,000 at Team Extra Starbrook Market, Just Your Size Boutique, White Castle Fish Shop, and Fireside Sweets. Creek Explosion, compliments of Fireside and Team Extra.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. The act of buggery between consenting same-sex couples have once again been deemed illegal in Trinidad and Tobago by the Appeal Court, Trinidad Express reports. It matters not if the act is carried out in the privacy of their own homes. It is still considered to be a criminal offense, which now attracts a term of imprisonment of up to 5 years. The maximum sentence previously stood at 25 years, but was modified by the court. The findings were made on Tuesday evening by 2 members of a 3-judge panel as they overturned the 2018 High Court ruling, in which a judge found that sections 13 and 16 of the Sexual Offences Act, which criminalizes the acts, were unconstitutional. Justice Davindra Ramprasad, in delivering that ruling, had found in favor of Jason Jones, an openly gay man who was born in Trinidad and Tobago but living in the United Kingdom. He had filed a constitutional motion challenging the legality of the sections on the contention they contravened his right to equality before the law and protection of the law. Following the ruling, the Office of the Attorney General filed an appeal against the judge's findings. In its judgment on Tuesday, the appeal court found that sections 13 and 16 were saved law, unlike the findings of Justice Ramprasad, and therefore it must remain on the statute books. A physical training exercise for Antigua-Barbuda Defense Force recruits went awry when a privately owned vehicle collided with a group of military personnel near the U.S. former air station, leaving multiple service members injured. The incident occurred at approximately 5:30 hours on Tuesday. Emergency services, including police and ambulance teams, rushed to the scene within 20 minutes of the collision. Injured recruits and staff sustained multiple injuries, including head, neck, back, shoulder, and foot trauma, and were immediately stabilized and transported to the Sir Lester Bird Medical Center. Investigations are underway, with police working to determine the exact circumstances of the collision. And finally tonight, international news. Russia has said some Western sanctions must be lifted before it begins a maritime ceasefire with Ukraine, the BBC reports. Within hours of the U.S. announcing the two sides had agreed to halt strikes in the Black Sea in separate deals, the Kremlin said it would only take place once sanctions on a number of Russian banks were lifted. The demands include revoking sanctions on the State Agricultural Bank and restoring the firm's access to the SWIFT international payment system. Overnight, Moscow launched a drone attack on a port city, Ukrainian officials said, with President Volodymyr Zelensky saying the strikes were a clear signal Russia did not want peace. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall reporting and wishing you a pleasant evening.